I love the Pokémon anime, but I have 10 unpopular opinions about it that I will defend to my grave. Hey guys, it's Christopher here, from blissyhusband.net. The Pokémon anime is, honestly, one of the most important contributions to pop culture that has ever been created. The series is a true treasure to the millions of fans who have followed Ash's adventures ever since it began airing during the late 90s. For most viewers, the franchise is, without a doubt, one of the best kids anime ever created. 10. The Alolan redesigns are overhated. The new art style is nowhere near as bad as imagined. After his amazing performance during the Kalos Pokémon League Championship, Ash and Pikachu were ready to embark on a new adventure in the Alolan Islands. This new quest came with a total overhaul of the anime's art style, giving it a much more cartoonish and childish appearance to the characters. For many years, the Sun and Moon era has been widely criticized by fans who disagreed with the decision to change the hero's design. Almost a decade after the release of this show, it is time to admit that Ash and Pikachu's new looks are nowhere near as bad as fans claimed. The style was changed to better fit the Alolan era of the anime, which was focused on comedy and more wholesome moments. The new design also made the protagonist look like an actual 10-year-old instead of a young teen, as he had been depicted several times in the past. 9. Iris is not a bad companion. She is a sweet and powerful trainer. The Black and White series is often acknowledged as one of the worst in Pokémon, mostly because the show attempted to be a soft reboot for Ash. The distaste fans feel over this series has often translated into anger against parts of the series that are not at fault for its performance, such as the hero's companion, Iris. This young and talented dragon-type trainer was shunned by the fandom for many years. Viewers claimed that she was annoying and overly critical of Ash's skills, despite the protagonist acting similarly toward her.
Iris and Ketchum had a sibling-like relationship. One that made them tease and bother each other without any real ill intent behind their words, even if Ash could be quite heartless at times. Iris is also one of the best trainers in the world, so it does not make sense that viewers called her an unskilled fighter.
Lusamine is not an effective villain. She really should not have been depicted as an antagonist. Unlike the original version of the character, who is one of the best and most unsettling villains in the games, the anime's version of Lusamine is, well, a kind but immature woman. She is overbearing towards her children to the point where her daughter, Lily, feels infantilized by her mother. She was also an overachiever, which pushed her to sometimes ignore her family to continue her research on the Ultra Beasts. Yet, the show decided to use her as one of the final villains of the Sun and Moon anime, making her act out of character just to justify her being absorbed by Neolago. Lusamine should not have been depicted as a villain but rather as a victim of the will of the Ultra Beasts, giving her family a chance to reconnect and grow. Ash should have won the Kalos League. His loss, honestly, was extremely unfair. The final battle of the Kalos Pokémon League has always been a point of discussion among fans due to the controversial decision of Ash losing to Alolan during the finals. As years have passed, opinions on the topic have shifted, with most of the fandom agreeing that the protagonist's defeat could make sense in the context of the show. Still, this defeat continues to be one of the most unfair and, honestly, senseless moments in the franchise. Ash's Pokémon during the X and Y era was one of his best and most powerful teams ever crafted. The hero had a completely evolved roster of Pokémon, something that had seldom occurred in the past. He also had a unique and overwhelmingly strong Greninja, who had a major advantage against Alolan's Charizard. Despite this, Ash ultimately lost, without any real explanation. Tobias is not an interesting character. His introduction just does not make sense. The Diamond and Pearl anime has one of the most controversial endings in the franchise. Tobias, Ash's opponent during the Sinnoh League, and the one who ultimately defeated the protagonist, was introduced without warning, along with a team of nothing but legendary Pokémon. Most fans agree that his inclusion feels underserved, but cannot help but feel an interest in the man's backstory. Lamentably, Tobias is nowhere near as interesting as the fandom believes, and the lack of a proper explanation for his team, despite how many years have passed since his appearance, confirms this. You know, the Alolan League was, well, far easier than others, Ash really deserved a better challenge, don't you think? One of the traits that sets apart the Sun and Moon era of the anime is how this series gave Ash the chance to win his first ever official Pokémon League. Fans were honestly shocked when the protagonist not only reached the finals of the tournament, but was actually crowned the champion. I mean, after almost 2 decades of waiting for this moment, it finally happened. Still, while Ash's victory during the Alolan League is one of the most epic and unforgettable moments in the anime, we can't ignore the fact that the competition itself was, well, easier than most others. A majority of the participants were trainers with far less experience and skill than Ash. Many of them had only started their journey shortly after Ash arrived at the archipelago. And you know, the hero's toughest battle in this arc wasn't even against another competitor, it was against Professor Kukui, who wasn't even part of the competition. Paul did not deserve redemption. He is truly despicable. Paul is one of Ash's best and most skilled rivals, being one of the few characters who pushes the hero out of his comfort zone to become stronger. He is loved by a large portion of the fandom due to his impressive battling skills and high intelligence. Lamentably, he is also one of the cruelest characters ever introduced to the series. Not only did Paul use harsh and often traumatizing methods to strengthen his Pokémon, but he also abandoned his defenseless Chimchar for not being powerful enough in one of the saddest scenes in the anime. His battle against Ash seemingly helped him understand how to be a better person, but it does not feel earned, as he never faced the consequences for his horrible acts. Liko is not a bad protagonist. Reliable, kind, and strong. When the Pokémon franchise announced that Ash would step down from his role as the protagonist after 25 years as the face of the franchise, fans had divided reactions. The arguments about the decision did nothing but worsen after the newest main character Liko was introduced. For several fans, the girl would never be able to be as iconic or successful as Ketchum. She is a reliable friend, a promising trainer, and one of the kindest heroes in the series. With the upcoming release of Pokémon Horizons Mega Voltage, fans must agree that she is indeed a great protagonist. Goh is a great character. He is an incredible companion. Throughout his journey, Ash met various amazing companions who helped him become a better person and trainer. Goh was one of his last adventure partners introduced during the Journeys era, and the reception was less than stellar. Several fans saw the young researcher as an awkward character who did not fit well with the protagonist. His quest to capture as many legendary Pokémon as possible was also criticized for feeling like a marketing ploy to sell more games. However, the reality is that Goh is one of the most endearing and interesting characters in the anime. His desire to learn and grow is admirable, and his adventure helps the show naturally introduce mythical creatures that had been mostly ignored in the past. Ash should have aged. His growth would have been more noticeable. From the moment his journey begins to the day he returns home as a champion, Ash remains the same age, 10 years old. This used to be a controversy among fans, as they wished the Pokémon anime would have allowed the hero to grow as his journey progressed. During the final seasons, this once criticized decision became less and less problematic. Even then, the series would have greatly benefited from seeing Ash age and mature as he traveled the world. This would not only help the timeline be clearer, as the entire anime currently seems to occur in less than a year, but it would also make him a much more interesting lead. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel. Your support is what keeps us inspired to make more amazing content. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care and stay safe. Thanks for watching. Oh, and if you've got any questions or suggestions, drop them in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Regards, blissyhusband.net.